Welcome back to Each One Reach One, everybody. We are right back, like I promised, for the continuation in our video study, Give Me Liberty or Give Me Death. We're in the 613 laws portion, part 7. Salat, by the way, you guys, in the last video, in the opener, I said part 5. Last video was part 6. You weren't tripping. That was me. That was my bad. All right. So that was indeed part 6. We are on part 7 now. All right. Let us begin by giving all praise, honor, and glory to our most glorious and blessed Father, Yahweh, in the name of his beloved Son, our Lord, Savior, and Master, Yahweh Shai. All praise is due. And as usual, grace, peace, and blessings, and hearty salutations to my family, the elect of Israel. All right, let's keep it moving, everybody. Part 7. We're picking up from where we left off, and we're at treatment of the Gentiles. All right, continuing to walk through the 613 laws. So the questions are, should we be keeping the law of Moses? That's one question. But you know what the better question is? Can we, in this day and time, keep the Mosaic Law? Is it even possible? If it's not possible, then it's not in effect. The Most High did not mandate something that is impossible to keep. That is not how he operates. That's not a just weight. That's him rigging the deck, stacking the deck against us. That's what they do in Vegas. Make sure the house always wins. That's not what he does. That's completely against his character. There's nothing, there should be nothing that you read in the scriptures that tells you that's how he operates. And you should know him. That's why you should know him. You should know what's what by what you see and by knowing him. You know he's never operated like that. So by the mere fact that it is impossible to keep, that should be all the evidence that you need that you're not supposed to. Right? That should be all that you need. But you love the traditions more than you love the Father. You love the customs more than you love his word. You cherish your rituals more than you cherish obedience. That is your problem. That's why you are the 2/3. That's why 2/3 of our people have to be destroyed. Many of you law pushers, you will be dealt with. Absolutely. But let us get back into this. Treatment of the Gentiles. Law 53 of 613. To love the stranger. To love the stranger. What does this mean? You didn't say love your brethren. It said love the stranger. Let's get this. You too must befriend the stranger, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. You too must befriend the stranger. So all of this hate that you're running around with for everybody that's not Israel, that is a violation of the law. See, here you go, want to pick and choose. No, man, but that ain't right. That ain't right. They don't like us. He didn't say love those that love you. He gave you a commandment to love the stranger. And a lot of you don't even love the strangers that do try to love you. I watch the videos out there. Man, look at this Moabite man trying to cling to the house of Israel. Look at this dog out here trying to cling. Look at these Edomites, man. Look at these dogs out here trying to cleave to the house of Israel. And that's what you guys are saying in the video. That's what your titles of your videos are. And then in your videos, you're disrespecting them. You're dogging them out. You're treating them like shit, talking to them like shit, trying to get some payback for all the years of oppression. But your law says to love the stranger. And they are the stranger. The Bible doesn't refer to Esau as a stranger because he's our brother. He's Jacob's brother. He's our brother, right? Edomites are our brothers. Doesn't refer to him as a stranger. Refer refers to the heathens as strangers, right? But that wisdom is too high for you fools, though, right? That's a whole other topic. 54, not to wrong the stranger in speech. Mm, mm, mm. Another violation. You guys wrong the strangers in your speech all the time. You deal with them all sorts of foul. You shall not wrong a stranger or oppress him, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. If the law is still in effect, it is wrong for you to wrong the strangers, the heathens, in your speech. It is wrong for you to not love these strangers, not to wrong the stranger in buying or selling, not to intermarry with Gentiles, to exact the debt of an alien, to lend to an alien at interest. According to tradition, this is mandatory. All right. Marriage, divorce, and family. 59. Most of you are already going to be in trouble with this first one. To honor father and mother. Many of you out there were snot-nosed, badass fucking children and teenagers that did not honor your father and mother. And I don't want to hear shit about how, oh, well, you know, that's when I was young. That's when I was young. See, now I'm grown. I'm 30. You know, I honor my father and my mother now. Or why I gotta honor my father, man. You know, he ain't been there, man. Or he only come around on the weekends, man. Or my mama, man, she was a crackhead, man. Or she was this, or she beat me, or she was that. And this. Most High doesn't give you all those stipulations. He said honor father and mother. He didn't say nothing about giving a fuck about how you felt about them and what they've done. He said what you better do. You better honor them. I don't care what they did. You better honor them. If they did that, then you deserve that shit. Because the Most High uses people in order to exact judgments on people. So if you had shitty parents, it's probably because you were a shitty fucking soul in your past lifetime that deserved shitty parents, that deserved a shitty upbringing. So he put shitty people over you to do shitty things to you because you had that shit coming. You ever thought of that? But no, but see, now you want to argue with the Father. You want to negotiate with him. You want to reason with him. You want to tell him why you shouldn't do it, why you shouldn't do what he says, right? 60, not to smite a father or mother, not to curse a father or mother. Guilty. Again, I know I got you here. Got you here. To reverently fear father and mother. Got you here again. Violator. To be fruitful and multiply. A lot of y'all don't even have children. If you don't have children, you're a violator. You claim to be a law pusher, a law clinger. Be fruitful and multiply. No children, violation. Violation. You should have children, not a child, children. That's being fruitful. That's multiplying. But you claim to be a law pusher and you out here with no kids. Happy to and proud to say, I ain't got no kids. Team no kids. Team no kids. Meanwhile, you're violating the law. And you're proudly and boastfully throwing it in the Father's face that you're violating his law. You say it's in effect, and it is. It's in effect. For those who believe that it's in effect, it is in effect for you. So he expects you to uphold the law in its entirety. That a eunuch shall not marry a daughter of Israel. 65. That a mamzer shall not marry the daughter of a Jew. 66. That an Ammonite or Moabite shall never marry the daughter of an Israelite. You notice how it's all about, the women, the daughters not being given away to the others. It's not about the men. See, the Most High feels differently about the men getting busy outside of the nation than he does about the women. And y'all can feel however y'all want to feel about that. Take that up with the Most High. There is a difference between the men and the women. There is a difference. 67. Not to exclude a descendant of Esau from the community of Israel for 3 generations. Again, it's been more than 3 generations since this law was given, so we're not even going to harp on this. I'm going to let it go. 68. not to exclude an Egyptian from the community of Israel for 3 generations. Again, it's been more than 3 generations, so we're not even going to talk about this. 69, that there shall be no harlot in Israel. Fellas, you're about to get in trouble again. Ladies, you're about to get in trouble again. 69. Oh, and look, and the number too. Come on, get your head out the gutters. Get your head out of the gutters. It just is. This is all coincidental. That this talk of harlotry and horrorism is law 69. Okay, it's just a coincidence. That there shall be no harlot, no whore, no hoes, no thoughts in Israel. That is, that there shall be no intercourse with a woman. Here's the caveat: without previous marriage, with a deed of marriage and formal declaration of marriage. A lot of y'all out there calling the woman you with, my wife, that's my wife. That's my wife. We've been together 5 years, man. That's my wife. We've been together 2 years, man. That's my wife. Where's the formal deed of marriage? Where is the marriage with the deed? Where's the formal declaration of marriage? You're not supposed to be having sex with that woman if there's no formal declaration of marriage. Violation of the law. If you've ever had sex with a woman, or ladies, if you ever had sex with a man and there's never been no deed, no formal declaration of marriage, violator. Oh wait. You can't just be running around here having sex with women. You can only have sex with women that you marry. Oh wait. See, but that's of Israel. That's why the Most High let his men get their rocks off outside of Israel. See what I'm saying? He didn't mind us whoring out and thotting out the other women, but not the Israelite women, not our sisters, not our aqua. No harlots in Israel. That's why it's specified no harlots in Israel. That's what the other women are for. That's what concubines were for. That's what these other women were for when it came to us. The Most High know we got urges, we got desires and shit. He know this. He made us. That's why he gave us the ability to have more than one woman. And see, we can't do that in any of this stuff. In this time, can we? Because women right now ain't gonna fucking let you. The society right now ain't gonna fucking let you, even though this was our culture, this was our heritage. The women will try to talk you out of it and try to make you believe that up is really down and down is really up. But the Most High knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing. Why you think that women outnumber men? If it was meant for every woman to have her own man, then why would he make the number so skewed the way he did? In every culture, every groups of people, the women always outnumber the men. That is by design. And if you understand that the Most High is behind and responsible for everything, that means he is responsible for the women outnumbering the men. And if the women outnumber the men, and it is impossible for every woman to get her own man because there's way more women than men, then how do you reconcile that? How do you reconcile that? That some women he just want to be lonely. He don't want every woman to be able to have a mate. Some women are meant to just be alone. Was that what it is? Is that what it is? See what I'm saying? If every man got with every woman, there would still be a bunch of women out there single, out there with no protection, with no man, no husband, no spouse, no mate, no partner, no companion. That's what you think the Most High did? You think that's what he created? Why didn't he just make it to where it was even? He could have done that, but he did not do that. But he could have, but he didn't. So you should know what his intent is behind the way he designed things. See, you don't got to believe me. You don't got to say, well, that's your interpretation. No. Believe what you see. If you believe that the Most High designed everything, he's the creator, he is responsible for everything, look at his design and figure out it's the purpose of it. How is it supposed to be used? What was his intent? What was the intent of the creator? That's what you would do, right? If you found a contraption, right? And you wasn't given instructions on how to use it, how it's supposed to be used, you would examine it. Examine the creation. And then you would learn the intent of the creator by what you observed, and right, by what you learned from studying it, right? Same thing. What do you get when you observe how the Most High created things? There's your answer. But anyway, back to it. 69, violators everywhere, Israel. You guys are all convicted, all condemned. Okay? 70, to take a wife by kiddushin. Again, I may pronounce that wrong, might have fucked that up, but y'all can see it. Look it up for yourselves if you want to know how to pronounce it properly. The sacrament of marriage. Let's get that. A man takes a wife and possesses her. She fails to please him because he finds something obnoxious about her, and he writes her a bill of divorcement, hands it to her, and sends her away from his house. Okay? I left that up because there's another part in there that I was looking ahead to, but we're going to get to it in here though, so I should just go ahead and close it. Yeah, I should just go ahead and close it because we're going to get to it. We're going to get to it. Right, let's see. Hold on, bear with me. Just let me take a quick peek to see if I should close this down. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm coming back to it anyway, so let's continue. 71, that the newly married husband shall be free for 1 year to rejoice with his wife. 72, that a bridegroom shall be exempt for a whole year from taking part in any public labor, such as military service, guarding the wall, and similar duties. You can't do this now, can you? No, you can't do this now. If you got married, you took your wife, and you try to go and take a whole year off, be exempt from all labor, service, and duties, you'd be out of a job, right? So what you're saying is that you believe in the law. The law's still in effect. This is what you're supposed to do. It's what you're supposed to do, but you don't do it because you don't want to lose money. So you're saying this is more important for you to hold on to these jobs, to not lose your employment, than it is for you to respect the wishes of the Most High. That's what you're saying. See, you got too many conflicts. See, you gotta make a decision between obeying the Most High or doing what you can in this land, obeying the laws of the land. See, you got to make a decision. And if you believe the law is in effect and you don't do what he says, then you're choosing to disobey him. You're choosing that you fear the other more than you fear him. And that's a problem. 73, not to withhold food, clothing, or conjugal rights from a wife. And wife, same to your husband. You're not to withhold food. You can't say, oh, I'm mad at you, so I ain't go cook for you. Clothing or conjugal rights, you ain't supposed to get mad at him and shut your legs. How many of you women have done that to your husbands? Violator, violator, violator. You don't belong to you. Your body belongs to him. You're not allowed to tell him no. Ooh, wait. You're not allowed to tell him no unless it's your time of the month. You are not allowed to say no to your husband. You are not allowed. That's out the window. But you believe the law is still in effect, right? But you believe that you should have the right to choose and to be able to say, yes, I'm in the mood, or no, I'm not in the mood. You don't have the right. You don't have the right. If he want it, he get it whenever he want it, whenever he want it. Don't fucking matter how tired you, that don't matter. Doesn't matter if you're in the mood. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. He has sex with a bunch of other women. No, it doesn't matter. That matters to you. That doesn't matter to the Most High. That is no matter of the law. That matters to you. But anyway, continuing on, 74, that the woman suspected of adultery shall be dealt with as prescribed in the Torah, meaning she should be stoned. Again, like I asked before, how many of you have stoned women that committed adultery? None of you. All of you can look around inside your own family. We're not even going to talk about strangers. Let's keep it close to home. All of you can look around in your own family and you can find adulterers everywhere. A lot of them were your own mothers. You ain't stoned mama, have you? And you're a violator of the law. You're partial in the law. You're a respecter of persons. How about your sisters? Violator of the law, respecter of persons, right? You know dudes that are violated by sleeping with another man's woman, because that's how men commit adultery. Men don't commit adultery by having sex with a woman that's not his wife. No, because men can do that. But if the woman is another man's wife, that's how a man commits adultery. And many of you know men. You have friends, your boys, your brothers, your cousins, your daddy, your uncles. You know somebody that have slept with another man's wife, but you didn't deal with him according to the law. You didn't do that. That makes you a violator. That makes you a partaker of his sin. That's what it makes you. It makes you a partaker of his sin. Right? Right. There's no arguing that. Any of you men out there that are not with a woman who was a virgin when you met her, you're committing adultery, because that woman belongs to another man. Whatever man laid down with her first, he wrote his name on her. She became his. She became his. She belongs to that man, that first man. She still belongs to him. That means you're out here having sex with whores. You're out here having having sex with other men's wives. You are an adulterer, and you cannot atone for it. So you're just sinning. You're just sinning. You're just wallowing in your sin, bathing in your sin, up to your eyeballs in sin, and drowning. Can do nothing about it. There's no salvation for you. But yet the Most High promised to save Israel. How's he going to do it? It's impossible for him to do it under the old covenant. But he said he would. But it's impossible. But he said he would. But it's impossible. See? There's a problem somewhere, a contradiction somewhere. He never contradicts himself. Has to be a contradiction in your own understanding. And if you won't admit that, then you rather call the Father a liar than to admit that your own understanding is wrong, that your own understanding is flawed. That's what you rather do. Your pride is so big that you rather say the Father is wrong than to say that you were wrong. 75, that one who defames his wife's honor by falsely accusing her of unchastity before marriage must live with her all his lifetime. 76, that a man may not divorce his wife concerning whom he has published an evil report about her unchastity before marriage. To divorce by a formal written document. 78, listen to this. Listen to this. This is a big one. This is a big one. See, this is the one that's about to explain to you how come your whole belief system as a law pusher makes no sense, right? 78, that one who divorced his wife shall not remarry her if after the divorce she had been married to another man. Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? We've harped on that plenty of times already, right? Plenty of times. That one who divorced his wife shall not remarry her if after the divorce she had been married to another man. Keeping in context that the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom, Judah and Israel, were considered betrothed to the Father Yahweh. He looked at us as his wives, right? For all intents and purposes, we were his wives, right? Right. Now, and due to infidelity, which is idolatry, going after other gods, that's the way we commit adultery against the Father, by going after other gods, as spiritual adultery, right? So he had to put away his woman for adultery, right? And the penalty is stoning, death. You see what he did to us, right? You see what he did to us? He took his name away. He took away his protection. He took away everything that we had as a benefit of our relationship with him. He took it all away. And he gave us up to punishment. He gave us up to death, bondage. That's what he did. He treated us like a filthy, whorish ass woman who stepped out on him. divorces, got rid of, and he can't take you back. He cannot remarry us. He cannot remarry us. That's why in order to bring us back, he had to create a new covenant, give us to his son in order to bring us back to him, because he couldn't do it under the old covenant. He had to trash the old covenant, get rid of it, and write up a new agreement, because under our old agreement, we violated and we had to suffer the penalty, and he could not just take us back. That's the law. The law that you don't understand, but you love so much. Right? Continuing on. 79. Wait. Yeah, so before we move on, I want to drive this home, right? Because you guys got to get this. You got to understand the relationship between us and the Father, right? You got to understand that the law is involved when it pertains to our relationship with him, right? And that because of the law is why Yahushua, there was a need for Yahushua to come. There was a need for Hamashiach. There was a need for a New Testament, a new covenant. It had to happen in order for his word to hold true, that he would not destroy us, that he would save us, even though we couldn't be under the old law. He couldn't violate the law, so he had to get rid of the law, right? He couldn't bring us back to himself, because who's divorced his wife cannot remarry her. He couldn't remarry us. He couldn't bring us back to himself again, right? So he had to have a relationship with us through Yahushua. That's how he brought us back to him, through Yahushua. That's how he maintained a relationship with us. He was able to reconcile us to himself. He couldn't do it otherwise. Let's precept real quick. Let's get Jeremiah chapter 3, the polluted land. And like our wives, us as men, the men of the Lord, our wives are considered our land. And us as the Most High's wives, we were considered his land. And when we went after other gods, we became polluted, right? The polluted land. Jeremiah 3:1. Old Testament. They say, they who? The law pushers, those of the old covenant. If a man put away his wife and she go from him and become another man's, like we did when we went after other gods, shall he return unto her again? Shall not that land be greatly polluted? But thou hast played the harlot with many lovers, yet return again to me, saith the Lord. Do y'all hear that? Do we got to read it again? Let's get it again. They say, if a man put away his wife and she go from him and become another man's, shall he return unto her again? This is a rhetorical question. His reply to that is, hell no. Shall not that land be greatly polluted? Did we not become greatly polluted? How is he going to take us back when he put us away and we went and become the whores, the wives of other gods? But thou hast played the harlot with many lovers. That's us. Israel and Judah played the harlot with many lovers. Yet return again to me, saith the Lord. See, so you get it? Do you get it? I hope you understand. That's important for you to understand. Let's continue in Jeremiah for a short stint. Jeremiah 3:2. Lift up thine eyes unto the high places and see where thou hast not been lying with. It's like, man, try to look around, man, high and low, to try to find a place where you have not been laid with, where you have not been whored out. He's talking to us like a thought, like a man who just caught his wife getting gang banged. This is how he disgusted he is with us right now at this point. This is how he's talking to us. This is how he felt. And you think you can just come back? You think with no new covenant? Y'all crazy. And the ways hast thou sat for them as the Arabian in the wilderness, and thou hast polluted the land with thy whoredoms and with thy wickedness. Therefore the showers have been withholden, and there have been no latter rain, punishing us. That's what you do. You start taking shit, start withholding all the dainties, all the niceties, all the great things that you once gave your wife, everything that she got as a benefit of her relationship with you. Oh no, you start holding that shit back. You take it away, even your name. That's why we no longer became Israelites. That's why the Northern Kingdom, who he divorced because he didn't divorce the Southern Kingdom, Northern Kingdom. So that's why they became Gentiles, because they couldn't be called Israel anymore. He tossed them out. He took the name back. They were no longer allowed to be called Israel. And thou hadst a whore's forehead. Wow. Thou refuses to be ashamed. Sound like right now, right? Sounds like what we're going through in our own communities right now. Our women, the thought-tastic culture, right? The thought-tastic voyage they're on right now. And they're not ashamed. They boast about being whores. That's what we did. And because we did that as his men, that's what we're talking about. As men, because we did that to him, he's cursed us to go through this with our own women. He's made our women do to us what we did to him. That's the hierarchy. That's how it works. He's punishing his men by making our women do to us what we, his men, did to him. Wilt thou not from this time cry unto me, my father, thou art the God of my youth? Will he reserve his anger forever? Will he keep it to the end? Behold, thou hast spoken and done evil things as thou couldst. The Lord said also unto me in the days of Josiah the king, hast thou seen that which backsliding Israel hath done? It's the Northern Kingdom. The Most High was super wroth with the Northern Kingdom, right? Hast thou seen that which backsliding Israel hath done? She is gone up upon every high mountain and under every green tree, and there hath played the harlot. Man, I'm telling you, it's like he's talking like a man who's caught his wife cheating. I'm telling you, not just cheating, but he just came home from the war, man, and serving in the military, just came from overseas and came in, and his wife is getting gang banged out. She didn't turn into a full-fledged porn star. She's trying to break the gang bang record. That's how he's talking about Israel. This is why they no longer became Israel. This is why how they became Gentiles. This is how they lost their heritage, everything, knowledge of everything. He took it from them. Right? And I said, after she had done all these things, turn thou unto me. But she returned not. And her treacherous sister Judah saw it, the southern kingdom. Southern kingdom. And I saw when for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, I had put her away. You see, he's talking about Israel as you talk about a woman who you're divorcing, a woman you put it away. You see here the way he's talking sounds like the law, right? Sounds like the law, right? And I saw when for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, I had put her away and given her a bill of divorce. Northern Kingdom. I put her away and given her a bill of divorce. This is why when Yahushua came, he said, I am not come but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. He's talking about the Northern Kingdom, who the Father put away and gave a bill of divorce, who were then being called Gentiles in the time when Yahushua came. Yet her treacherous sister Judah feared not, but went and played the harlot also. And it came to pass through the lightness of her whoredom that she defiled the land and committed adultery with stones and with stocks. And yet, for all this, her treacherous sister Judah hath not turned unto me with her whole heart, but feignedly, saith the Lord Yahweh. The Lord Yahweh said unto me, the backsliding Israel hath justified herself more than treacherous Judah. Go and proclaim these words toward the north and say, see, because Most High always send a prophet to go to the people, to go warn them of what's coming before it happens, to communicate with the people, to be the go-between. This is how it works. Go and proclaim these words toward the north, the northern kingdom, and say, return, thou backsliding Israel, saith the Lord Yahweh, and I will not cause mine anger to fall upon you, for I am merciful, saith the Lord Yahweh, and I will not keep anger forever. Only acknowledge thine iniquity, that thou hast transgressed against Yahweh thy power, and hast scattered thy ways to the strangers under every green tree, and ye have not obeyed my voice, saith the Lord Yahweh. Turn, O backsliding children, saith Yahweh, for I am married unto you. Turn, O backsliding children, saith the Lord Yahweh, for I am married unto you. And I will take you one of a city and two of a family, and I will bring you to Zion. I will give you pastors according to my heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. That's this time he's talking about. That's right now. Right? And it applied in the time of, when Yahushua came and his apostles, they all became the pastors according to the Most High's heart, who fed them with knowledge and understanding. Right? And it shall come to pass, when ye be multiplied and increased in the land in those days, saith the Lord, they shall say no more, the ark of the covenant of the Lord, neither shall it come to mind, neither shall they remember it, neither shall they visit it, neither shall that be done anymore. Listen, does this not sound like right now? Because remember, back then, the ark existed, all this existed, right? Listen, he said, and it shall come to pass, when ye be multiplied and increased in the land in those days, saith Yahweh, they shall say no more. And do we not? We don't say anymore. The ark of the covenant of the Lord. We don't say it anymore. Neither shall it come to mind. It doesn't come to mind. Neither shall they remember it. Most don't even remember it. We lost all the knowledge of these things. Neither shall they visit it. We can't visit it. Neither shall that be done anymore. At that time, they shall call Jerusalem the throne of the Lord, and all the nations shall be gathered unto it, to the name of the Lord, to Jerusalem. Neither shall they walk any more after the imagination of their evil heart. Right? In those days, the house of Judah shall walk with the house of Israel. Why is he saying that? Because we've been divided. We've been divided. See, this is why he had to get rid of the law also, because he divided the two tribes because of casting away the northern kingdom. They went and became the Gentiles. That's why you hear in the New Testament, there's a friction between the Gentiles, aka the northern kingdom Israelites, and the Jews who are of Judah, the southern kingdom. There is a schism between the two. And Yahushua and the apostles had to come and break down the barriers between them and bring us back together as one nation. Right? Listen to this. Listen to this. One nation under Yahweh, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You heard that, right? But that's exactly what Yahweh came to do. He came back to make us one nation under power, indivisible, because we were dividable before, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. See, they stole that. That's where it came from. That's where it came from. But see, so you guys get it, right? You should be hearing this and you should be like, damn, whoa, this makes a lot of sense, right? This makes a lot of sense. Why didn't I get this before? Why didn't I get this before? And I could keep going here, but my point is made. So I'm gonna go back to the list of the laws, right? We ended at 78, right? Yes. 79 of 613, that a widow whose husband died childless must not be married to anyone but her deceased husband's brother. How many of you women out there had a husband who died, right? Your husband being, the man who you had sex with, your first, and he died. And when your husband died, and he died childless, that you went and got with his brother, and you raised up seed to your dead husband. How many of you brothers out there, how many of you ox have done this? How many of you ox have lost one of your brothers, and he left behind a wife, no kids, and you went and lay down with his wife, broke her off, got her pregnant, dedicated that kid to your brother? That's the law. That's the law. 80, to marry the widow of a brother who has died childless. Supposed to marry her. You're supposed to marry your brother's widow. That's the law. Or that the widow formally release the brother-in-law if he refuses to marry her. None of you have even gotten to 81, right? It never even crossed your mind. You never even entertained the idea of going and laying down with your brother's wife, impregnating her, and dedicating that child to him. But that's the law. You claim you keep the law. You claim you love the law. But that sounds disgusting to you. That idea is repulsive to you, ladies. The same ladies who claim the law, the law, the law, the law, the law. They're like, ew. But you love the law. Ew. No way. Oh, so you're saying to the father, no fucking way am I going to do what you say to do. I think that's disgusting, so I ain't doing it. Fuck you. That's what you're saying? That's what you're saying. See? It's when you put it like, see, I know it's different when you hear it like that, right? But you got to hear it the way he takes it. That's how he takes it. See? That's why you can't pick and choose what you listen to, what you believe in. It's all here. If you believe in it, you got to believe in all of it. You got to take it all or nothing. All or nothing. That's how the game goes. Forbidden sexual relations. Now, I'm going to skip over most of this because I'm just going to assume that it ain't a bunch of fucking heathens out here who need this part read to them about not committing incest, not sleeping with your relatives, right? So we just go skip past all of this shit, right? All right, let's get to 101. All right? That's what all of that is about. All of that is don't sleep with your mama, don't sleep with your father, don't sleep with your auntie, don't your uncle, your niece. That's what all that is, okay? So we'll skip past all of that, and that should just be self-explanatory. And if any of you had done that shit, Lord be with you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not here to judge. I'm just going to skip past it and not harp on that because that should just like go without saying, right? So 101, not to have intercourse with a woman in her menstrual period. Come on, fellas. How many of you ever on red lights? Ew. That's the time you're supposed to say ew, ladies. That's the time. And you too, fellas. Ew. I know, nasty, disgusting. But I know many of you have done it. You fucking horny little beasts out there. Many of you. Come on, baby. It's all good. That's okay. We just clean up afterward. Or your woman really horny. She wanted bad. Baby, let's just do it in the shower. Let's just do it in the shower, and it's all good. Come running red lights, violating the law to satisfy your carnal pleasure. Guilty. 102. Not to have intercourse with another man's wife. Guilty. 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 If you ever got with a woman and she wasn't a virgin, you violated this law. You violate this law. Every time you have sex with a woman that is not a virgin, you violate this law. Because according to marriage, biblical marriage, the woman belongs to the first man she slept with. That is her husband. And unless that man is dead, she is still that man's wife. And if you are with a woman in a relationship or you've had sex with a woman that was not a virgin, you have had sex with another man's wife and you have violated and you have not atoned. You're guilty and you're filthy in your sin because you cannot atone. 103. not to commit sodomy with the male. I hope you guys aren't doing this, but you law pushers, I know how y'all get down. Y'all pirates, backdoor pirates. A lot of y'all filthy fucking beasts. Not to have intercourse with the beast. Which I didn't have to mention that. That a woman shall not have intercourse with the beast. And 106, not to castrate the male of any species, neither man nor a domestic or a wild beast nor fowl. Okay. Hoping that don't apply for any of you either. Times and seasons. Times and seasons. For all of you guys who love to say, oh, you got to keep the Sabbath, got to keep this day, got to keep that day, this moon, this festival, this feast, this, that. Okay. The day of this, the day of that. All right. Here you go. Times and seasons. 107. That the new month shall be solemnly proclaimed as holy, and the months and years shall be calculated by the Supreme Court only. Only. But we have no Supreme Court. So how could we do this? How could we do this? Another law that is impossible for us to uphold. 108, not to travel on Shabbat outside the limits of one's place of residence. That means you can't leave your home and go to a corner to go preach and teach. If you're out there on any corner on the Sabbath, you're in violation of the law. If you're out there with anything that you've carried out there, you are in violation of the law. Right? 109, to sanctify Shabbat, not to do work on Shabbat, to rest on Shabbat, to celebrate the festivals, to rejoice on the festivals, to appear in the sanctuary on the festivals. Ooh, see, y'all was like, yeah. And then we got hit, we came to this one and we went smack dead into a wall, right? Even though the other ones you were still fucked up, right? Because you're still violating the do no work, the rest, because you don't even understand what do no work and what rest actually means, what sanctify actually means. You're still violating all of those, right? Celebrating the festivals. It ain't just saying, oh, today is the festival of this, and then and you're acknowledging it. No, it doesn't say acknowledge it. It says celebrate. And the celebration, it has a whole thing that comes to us, whole ceremony involved with all of the festivals, all of the celebrations, right? They have a ceremony attached to them, and you can't uphold the ceremonies for any of these days. You can't do it. We've already been over this in one of our earlier videos. You cannot do it. That's why I'm not clicking on these, because we've been over it. You cannot do it. You cannot uphold the ceremonies and the rituals that come with these ceremonies, with these days of observance. You can't do it. How do you appear in the sanctuary on the festivals when there isn't one? How do you do it? To remove Shemitz on the eve of Passover, to rest on the first day of Passover. And again, if I clicked on this and went into this, like we've already done, that's why I'm not going to do it. You will see all the different things that comes along with this, and you can't do it. You don't do it. Not to do work on the first day of Passover, to rest on the seventh day of Passover, not to do work on the seventh day of Passover, to eat matzah on the first night of Passover, and no shemetz be in the Israelites' possession during Passover, yeast, not to eat any food containing shemetz, yes, on Passover, not to eat shemetz on Passover, that shemetz shall not be seen in the Israelites' home on Passover, got to get rid of it out of your house, to discuss the departure from Egypt on the first night of Passover, not to eat shemetz after midday on the 14th of Nisan, to count 49 days from the time of the cutting of the Omer, first sheaves of the barley harvest, which you can't do. You don't have any land. You can't take part in the barley harvest. See what I'm saying? It's like a lot of stuff that come along with these things that you can't do it. You just can't do it. It is impossible. You know what I mean? All of these days, you can't do it. I'm not, again, I can keep going, but why? I'm just going to skip past all of this because you can't do any of it. You can't keep any of these days. See, these little things that you see here, you might say, well, I can do that. But when you click on the links and you go into the law, you go into the book and see everything that's included with this, you can't do it. And we've been over it. That's why I'm not going to go through all of this. It's redundant, not necessary, because it's just reading this part doesn't give you the understanding of how redundant it is. I mean, of how stupid it is for you to claim that you're keeping it when it's impossible for you to do all the things, because it requires ceremony and rituals that you cannot do. It's not just a day of observance, right? There are sacrifices and offerings and everything to make, and you don't do it. You can't do it. Plain and simple. You can't and you don't. Okay? Dietary laws. 143. To examine the marks in cattle so as to distinguish the clean from the unclean. So in order to distinguish the clean from the unclean cattle, you had to examine the marks on the cattle. None of you are farmers. None of you kill your own meat. You buy it. Therefore, you have no way to discern, to know, to understand what the status of that cow was before it got to your plate, before it got to your kitchen, before it got to the supermarket nearest you. You cannot be sure that it was clean. You cannot be sure. So you cannot be sure if you're violating. Why are you leaving that up to chance? You're supposed to examine the marks in your cow, in the cow, but you cannot do it. See, another law that you cannot adhere to. In another fashion that you can be violating, because you don't know if just because it's cow, because it's not an abominable animal, you know what I mean? It's not an unclean animal. You think, hey, it's good to go. No, that's not it. See what I'm saying? It's not as cut and dry as you guys say with all this stuff. This is why you're fucking foolish, man. You're fucking foolish. 144, not to eat the flesh of unclean beasts. But how do you know if some of these animals were unclean? But see, this is talking about ceremonial unclean, not just animals that had marks in them or something. Verse 145, number 145, to examine the marks in fishes so as to distinguish the clean from the unclean. How many of you have done this? How many of you know what marks to look for? See, most fish that you eat, most of you aren't going out there and fishing for your own fish. You're buying it. You do not know what the status was of that fish before it got to you. So you have no way of being certain that you're not violating. And it's safe to assume that in this day and age where it's all about making a profit, that these people out there who are responsible for catching this stuff, that they give no fucks about this dietary law. They trying to turn a buck. And they got ways of hiding blemishes, hiding defects, and this, that, and the other in order to meet their quota so they can get paid. So you're fucking violating. So it don't matter. You might as well be eating pork. You might as well be enjoying crab and lobster. You might as well. You might as well. Because you're violating anyway. And if you violate in one way, you're violating all. This is why the law has been done away with. That's why I'm saying it should make sense to you now that the Father got rid of this shit. Because again, and in doing so, in violating and all these things, how do you atone? How do you make right with the Father? How do you make yourself right with him? After you violate the law, how do you make him right? How do you make it right with him? You can't and you don't. So you don't. Right? To examine the marks in fowl so as to distinguish the clean from the unclean. You don't do this. You're not part of that process. You have no idea. You didn't examine the meat before it got to you, as stated before. Not to eat unclean fowl. To examine the marks in locusts so as to distinguish the clean from the unclean. Not to eat a worm found in fruit. Not to eat of things that creep upon the earth. Not to eat any vermin of the earth. Not to eat things that swarm in the water. Not to eat of winged insects. Not to eat the flesh of a beast that is terapha, meaning torn. Not to eat the flesh of a beast that died of itself. How do you know? How do you know if the meat that you ate was torn? How do you know if that animal died of itself? To slay cattle, deer, and fowl according to the laws, if their flesh is to be eaten. How do you know if they were slayed according to the law? And most of them they weren't, because these people who are doing this don't adhere to your laws. They're doing it their way. They're not doing it by the law of Mosaic, by the Mosaic Law. So again, a violation not to eat a limb removed from a living beast. How do you know whether or not you've done this? How do you know? How do you know? How do you know? How do you know if that wing, those wings you ate, weren't plucked off the chicken while it was still alive? How you know motherfuckers were still alive and they just start cutting wings off that motherfucker? How you know? You don't know. How you know that beef shoulder that you ate, you know what I'm saying? Motherfucker wasn't a sadistic motherfucker, just start hacking at the damn cow while it was still alive. How you know? Not to slaughter an animal and its young on the same day. Not to take the mother bird with the young. To set the mother bird free when taking the nest. Not to eat the flesh of an ox that was condemned to be stoned. Not to boil meat with milk. Not to eat flesh with milk. Not to eat the thigh vein with shrink. Not to eat tallow fat. Not to eat blood. A lot of you out there violate this with your rare and medium rare steak preference. To cover the blood of undomesticated animals, deer, etc., and of a fowl that have been killed. How many of you have seen roadkill, seen animals out there dead, blood all over the place? How many of you have went and covered it up? Oh, you haven't, but you saw it, right? Violated the law. Not to eat or drink like a glutton or a drunkard. Not to rebel against mother or father. Not to eat or drink like a glutton or a drunkard. How many of you have done this? A lot of you have been in college. You've done this. A lot of you have grown up partying and going to parties, going to clubs and this, that, and other. And all of you have done this. All of you have done this. And if you have done this one time in your entire life, most of you have done it many times. But if you've only done it one time, you're in trouble because you didn't atone for it. Because you can atone for it. And if you, so that means you're still carrying this with you. All of these violations that you've committed, you're carrying all these with you because you can't atone for any of them. You're guilty all over the place. How do you tell me, how is the Father going to save you? How is Israel going to be saved? How are you going to be clean? How do you think you have the right to come to the Father? How do you think you have the right to come to him? How do you think you have the right after all of this? Him divorcing you, him throwing you away, you being a whore and violating the terms of the covenant. Violating all these laws, you do violate all these laws with no atonement, and you think that you can come to him. That is craziness to think that you need Yahweh Shai. Craziness to think you need Hamashiach. Craziness, it's foolishness to believe that you have any need for him. But it's perfectly sane to think you can come back to the man that divorced you, that you cheated on, that you whored on. Right? So I'm gonna keep some of your laws, some of your rules, some of your regulations, some of your commands, and be all right. You just gonna have to be cool with it. Wow, the audacity, the fucking nerve of you. Wow. But all right, so this is a good spot to stop. We're gonna stop right here. All right, put a bow tie on this one, call it a wrap. Again, as always, I hope you guys aren't just listening and watching. I hope you're learning. I hope you're being edified, Israel. Right? I hope your eyes are being pulled wide open. I hope the veil is being removed from a lot of you. We got to get the elect sealed. We got to get everybody awakened. I'm here to reach one. Each one reach one. And if I reach one of you, turn around and try to reach another one of us. All right? That's the goal. Domino effect. You guys, we got work to do. We want to get up out of here, man. We want to get out of here. Right? We don't need to do this work for salvation. We have salvation. That's why we do the work. We have a reward waiting for us. We want the return of our power. We want the downfall of our enemies. We want all of that, but the elect has to wake up first. Okay? The Most High is working great works in this land on our behalf. Say thank you, appreciate it, and let's try to hurry things up. Do whatever you can to be part of the process. Don't just sit on the sideline, get in the game. All right? Giving all praise, honor, and glory to our Father, Yahweh Bahashem HaMashiach Yahweh Shai. All praise is due. Grace, peace, blessings, and salutations to my family, the elect of Israel, and to the mighty men being built up, the 144,000, the governors of Israel, the rulers of the Most High, currently being built up in the faith through the Holy Spirit. Be steady and consistent, and we're going to get there. Walk in your liberty, Yasharala. Enjoy your weekend, okay? I'll see you soon on the next video. This concludes Give Me Liberty or Give Me Death, the 613 laws portion of our study, part 7. Shalom.